It was a Sunday evening, the kind where the last rays of sun cast long shadows through the stained glass of our church windows. I was just packing up my Bible after the evening service, my heart still humming from the worship, when he approached me. Daniel. He had that earnest, sincere look about him that always made me feel seen, especially after he'd spent weeks quietly but consistently helping with the youth group, always offering a hand, a kind word. Rachel, he began, his voice a low, almost reverent tone. Can I speak with you for a moment? My heart did a little flutter. I'd noticed Daniel, of course. Who wouldn't? He was thoughtful, active in the church, and undeniably handsome. I imagined the typical conversation, I've been praying about you, or I feel like God is leading me to get to know you better. All the usual Christian courtship lines. But what he said next wasn't anything I'd anticipated. He looked directly into my eyes, his gaze intense, unwavering. Rachel, he repeated, God told me you are my wife. The world seemed to tilt. My breath hitched. God told him? Not, I have a strong feeling, or I've been praying about us, but God told me. It hit me with the force of revelation, a divine decree. For a young Christian woman like me, raised on stories of miraculous provisions and divine guidance, these words carried immense weight. They felt irrefutable. How could I question something God had supposedly spoken? A warmth spread through me, a mixture of awe and a dazing sense of destiny. Could it be? Was this God's perfect will unfolding right before my eyes? I smiled, a little breathless, and mumbled something like, wow, really? And so our relationship began. Not with tentative steps of getting to know each other, but with the heavy mantle of a prophetic word draped over us. Daniel often reiterated his divine conviction. He'd say things like, since God already said it, we just need to align with his will. My friends and even some older women in the church, when they heard, would nod knowingly. God works in mysterious ways, or if God said it, who are we to argue? I tried to tell myself it was romantic, a clear sign from above, but beneath the surface, a tiny, persistent whisper of unease began to grow. We skipped over so many of the foundational conversations. We didn't really discuss our dreams, our fears, our past, or even our everyday preferences with the depth I thought a true partnership required. How could we? God had already decided, hadn't he? Any hesitation felt like disobedience, like questioning the Almighty. When I'd voice a concern or express a different opinion, Daniel would sometimes sigh a little sadly and say, Rachel, don't you trust God? This is his plan for us. It made me feel guilty, like doubts were a spiritual failing. He wasn't malicious, not overly. He was just convinced. And his conviction, coupled with my own desire to follow God's will, was a powerful, almost suffocating force. We moved quickly. Engagement felt like an inevitable next step, less a deeply personal choice and more a fulfillment of a prophecy. As the wedding plans progressed, my unease intensified. There were moments, quiet moments alone, when I would feel a deep hollow ache in my chest. Was I truly happy? Did I truly know this man? Or was I just going along with a script I believed God had written? Before we continue, sharing these moments, these raw parts of our journeys is how we connect and learn from each other. If you're finding strength or understanding in Rachel's story, please consider giving this video a like. And if you want to hear more stories of faith, love, and navigating life's complexities as a Christian woman, be sure to subscribe to our channel. It truly means so much to know we are building a community here. Now back to the story. The breaking point came during a premarital counseling session with our pastor. He asked us, "What are your individual spiritual journeys like? What are your deepest fears for marriage? What are your expectations for a life partner?" When it came to my turn, Daniel interjected, "Pastor, we just trust in God. He's already brought us together." Our pastor, a wise man who had seen many young couples, paused. He looked at Daniel, then at me. "Daniel," he said gently, "God guides us, yes, but he also gives us free will and discernment. A healthy marriage is built on two people actively choosing each other, knowing each other, and building a foundation of trust and understanding, not just on a single word someone believes they heard." That conversation was a lightning bolt. It was the first time an external voice validated the tiny nagging questions in my heart. It made me realize that while God's plan is perfect, his plan often involves us in our full humanity, making choices, discerning, and truly engaging with the person in front of us. After much prayer, many tears, and incredibly difficult conversations, I made the agonizing decision to end the engagement. It was messy. Daniel was hurt, and many in our community were confused, even disappointed. Some even suggested I was working out on God's will, but I knew deep down that my peace, my true peace, was more important than fulfilling a prophecy that felt more like a cage. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but almost the most liberating. I learned a profound lesson. God speaks in many ways, through his word, through prayer, through wise counsel, and through quiet discernment of our spirits. But he doesn't typically strong-arm us into relationships, nor does he bypass the vital process of truly knowing and choosing someone. True love, truly God-honoring love, is built on more than a single declarative sentence. It's built on shared values, mutual respect, understanding, and two people genuinely choosing each other day after day by his grace. If Rachel's story resonated with you in any way, please consider giving this video a like. And if you're interested in hearing more real and relatable stories about faith, relationships, and the journeys of Christian women, please subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us share these stories and connect with others. Thank you for listening.